All right, peace and blessings. Monday, April the 9th, the year 2018. Anytime I start to think I'm having a bad day or things ain't going just right, I think about people like P.F. Lazor or Russell Landers or Yori Von Kaul, and I realize I'm not spending 35 years in prison. So a flat tire is nothing. Imagine spending 35 years in prison. I can't even begin to imagine. One guy recently said, if he had known how bad prison was, he would just rather have died. Let's go to P.F. Lazor's. I want to share with you guys, if you go to yearofjubilee.com and you go to list of other prisoners, I've created a P.F. Lazor Dropbox. If you click on that link, I've read one of his letters into YouTube. I'm going to read another one tonight, and I'm going to read true facts he wrote about his case. We interviewed a lady by the name of Gail, and she called herself his surrogate mother. She's known him since he was 22 years old. There was an article put out in American Free Press on issue number 14. If you go to page 30, there's a title of Miscarriage of Justice. But let's read P.F. Free Lazor's letter to me, and I'm going to do another one called True Facts about the case. And his writing is terrible. He said he has traumatic brain injury, and that's why he writes so bad. It's a real shame. He wrote it on April the 3rd, so he wrote it 6 days ago. It's his second letter. Greetings, brother, Rudy, and Aaron. And I'm going to mess up some of these words. It's 13 pages. It's going to take me a long time, but we'll do the best that we can. He's been in prison 35 years. I'm sure he's got a lot to say. My previous letter today was terribly rushed, as most of my letters are in the midst of well over 1,000 hours of urgency and emergency obligations every day, which only grows daily. But I can slow down a little here to address or clarify a few matters now that today's work has gone, or something has gone. And I can about relax a bit, as this will go out tomorrow. 1. I note your business size card of political prisoners has Yori Kaul and Scott Fall. They have been in my prayers since their Gordon's ordeal occurred, when mine did, way back in 1983. So he knows Gordon Kaul and Scott Fall and Yori Von Kaul. For some years, I was in close contact with Yori's mom, but not since decades ago. I heard she's still alive, but she's not with us mentally. She has maybe dementia or Alzheimer's. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's true. I recognize only 1, 2, or 3 other names on your card. The card is a great idea. For 9 to 12 months, it's been on my top priority, but to get a few business cards designed and printed related my kidnap status and outreach at vistaprint.com. That's the same place I use. But alas, the project, along with many hundreds of others that are top priority, have stopped away from me as they slipped. It slipped more away from me as the day passes. Whether I'll ever be able to do this is unknown. I need at least 80 more of me just to eat each day and keep the overload and backlogs from increasing. Number 2, I know nothing about you. Would you tell me more, please, about you and your history, what you have achieved, your aims with something, Political Prisoners Project? Well, that's going to be real easy. I'm a Bible-believing follower of the Lord Jesus Christ. I make noise and shine light to whoever listens. If you don't want to listen, I don't really care. I mean, I'm just cleaning. I'm cleaning my hands of all this blood that I see around me everywhere I look. Everywhere I look, I see injustice. And when I stand before our Father, I'm going to say, I said something about it. And somebody will say, well, nobody listened to you. I don't give a crap if nobody listens to me. I said it. That's going to be my answer. Number 3, if I were to guess who sent you an email about me, I'd guess my Christian friend Ken Missat. Can you confirm? I don't think it was him. I think it was a lady. And I think she was friends with Pat Shannon. I can't remember who tells me about every prisoner, man. I know that may sound weird, but it's like I can't keep track. 4, supporters. I began with several hundred in 1983, people who actually knew me. More than 70 of them were on my visitors list twice now. I get 1 or 2 visits a year if I'm lucky. So 35 years of the abuses of prison have torn apart my support system, not to mention many deaths of family and friends and natural sabotage from a couple of evil destroyers just 4 years ago. So I do have some degree of support system, but it is at best in tatters. And instead of serving my cause for freedom, exposure, and exoneration, my various needs, it tends to reach out of me the only thing I need most and can't ever buy or replace and get back is time. That is for the most part. I will say also that me now and then, man, his writing is really bad. Me now and then, something, a dent in the gucks of progress, but very few and far between, and mostly ineffective. It appears his support system, it's not what it used to be. He does have a few people who believe in him, though. 5, anyone who can learn about my story, go to the main website at www.free-lazor.org. California prisoners do not have access to the internet or direct email, but we are allowed by law to have someone outside build one or faltitude one for us. I can't read it, man. Mine is operated by a friend, Sam Milam. So anything I input to it or anything I wish to know about or see that's on it, Sam must upload or download, send to me. I am personally computer illiterate and website internet ignorant. For the most part, those didn't exist when I lost my freedom in 1982-1983. Number 6, I also have Facebook, 1,300 Facebook friends, but none ever write, though they promise to. I waste a lot of my time thereby. This is operated by yet another elderly friend, a fellow Christian, Don Cena. 7, both Sam and something home established their own our email addresses for me, but because they must something reprinting every incoming email and send it to me by U.S. snail mail, and they must rewrite word process my email I wish to send out and then send it. Me discouraged email use and try to reserve it only for something that absolutely aren't willing to something me snail mail, such as the news media, business organizations, and legal government agencies, etc. I can't read it, man. Tell me, in what way, what form do you publish my voice online to tell my story? I guess he doesn't understand. When he calls me, I'll just record his voice and put it out on the internet. By voice, do you mean it literally, my recorded speaking by phone, or do you mean frequently just be heard by printing what I say online? If the former, that would be amazing. Okay, well, that's what I'm going to do, so he'll be happy about that. He did try to call me earlier today, but I didn't have any money on his phone account, but I fixed that, so I got $20 on his account now. Something I've tried to do for 35 years, long before, he's a good singer, supposedly. He was a famous, but maybe we'll have him sing some songs, right? I hope he calls me back. Long before the internet existed. Years ago, my dear late friends, Jack McLam. Well, there's Jack McLam again. Jack McLam was advocating for all these guys before we even knew about him. Most highly decorated policeman in Arizona history scheduled me to be something on the radio show, but at the last minute, something canceled it totally illegally, but we never got to reset it up. CAC ever yet held accountable, that broadcasting may have resulted in my exoneration and freedom. If you do or can do something like this, whether radio or online feed, that would be fantastic. I'm fairly articulate. The 35 years of incarceration torture probably has caused a few flaws in my skills as a speaker under interview. I don't think he'll have a problem. He seems to write pretty good, but I mean he's lucid. It's just his writing is bad. Okay, 9, phone calls to you. California has its own oppressive system, different than many other states and feds. No core links, no debit phone cards. I may get one 30-second call to you from the infamous criminal phone scam company GTL, Global Tel Link, just to tell you you must open an account with GTL for me, or we may not even get that. If that thereafter, you must open a phone account with GTL, which I have done. He's got money on his account on it, and that is drawn from as I call you. I think it's $20 minimum. Calls home occasionally, interrupt, harassment, recording that. Yeah, I understand that. It's into our call to tell you that the call is to be recorded. I also, at 15 minutes, the call is automatically terminated with a 60-second and 30-second interrupt warning. If you're willing to do this, for further info, call GTL. Okay, that's all set up. We're ready to go as soon as he calls me. I look forward to talking to him. 35 years in prison. Like I said, man, sometimes I have a bad day, but all I got to do is think about these prisoners. Like, I don't have a bad day. What are you talking about? I was outside with my dog. We were in the sunshine. Political prisoner. This is one of the worst and outrageous Second Amendment cases in U.S. history and should be recognized as such by NRA and all gun rights organizations and something. B. This is probably the absolute worst First Amendment political prisoner case in U.S. history. I fully served a wrongful murder sentence on May 1st, 1992, and I have been held in prison illegally since then for 25 extra years. 3 times the murder sentence, again, solely for speaking out against the correctional something and police corruption in my case, and for filing lawsuits and something, publishing proof, the coroner, the police, the judge, defense attorney, corruption, criminality on my website. They taken my life, destroyed my life, tortured me relentlessly in many ways, including physically, had set me up to be murdered 13 documented times and other times as well, kidnapped me all these years, all for my standing up and standing out to expose their crimes. C. No other case in California history, I've researched thousands and thousands, probably no other case in California history is so corrupt with Brady errors. Planted evidence, destroyed exonerating evidence, altered evidence to connect exonerating into inculpatory, forged writings, manufactured evidence, suborned perjury, etc., all 100% proven now. See 3552 document on my main website, but virtually no one ever goes there to see it. How can we get traffic there or otherwise get exposure to this? No other parole case in California history has ever came close to what has been the norm in my case for 25 years since my parole mandated by law, sentence completed May 1st, 1992, first-degree murder with lifelong egregious crime. Historic are being released on parole in record numbers by the California Parole Board. Thus, for plus 7 to 10 years now, they have served as much as 10 years less than me, while I was acquitted of first-degree murder, wrongfully convicted of second-degree, which carries 10 years less prison time than first-degree. And I have no crime history, not even a jaywalking ticket in my life. Figure that. How can that be? It's political prisoner kidnapping. Each time my next parole hearing gets close again, right before it, criminal prison guards write false reports, pretty petty reports like outside on the yard when it was time to be in, and raised my voice talking to the law librarian, which are the 100% false, and these have been used for 25 years to deny me parole, saying those something I'm danger to society, even though the statutes in the sentence under it doesn't matter if I'm danger to society, I still must be released May 1st, 1992, but I'm always been a major outstanding leader, something to society since a young lad, till that they locked me away with no exception. 11, innocence. I shot a crazed, violent something in self-defense as he kicked down the locked bedroom door on my home to kill me with a meat cleaver. That's not a crime. I stopped shooting when the danger from him ceased. Then I called police and ambulance to come and help. He was alive when they arrived and on his feet. They, police, assuredly killed him or helped kill him. I am just as innocent as if had not involvement and was 1,000 miles away. There is no something case in U.S. history. There is no comparable case in U.S. history. What do I need? Number one, time. If I could somehow buy 10,000 more hours each day, if I spend my last dime, I'd spend millions of dollars a day to have days that were 10,000, 24 hours longer, or 2 times to 3 times that. I could easily be every one of these hours. I still couldn't catch up. I'm 35 years backlogged on urgent and even emergency projects and issues that I began to tackle 35 years ago when the nightmare began, and every day since then I've tried at each day brings between 20 and 100 new obligations or tasks to tackle, and I hope to get my freedom and health and survive. I can't write 20 plus songs a day if I had the hours. I could write 25 plus songs a day if I had the hours. The importance of music in my head and lyrics are there, but don't forever, because there's no time to write them. I could invent several new things every day as ideas are there, but not enough time to note them all on paper. Just keeping the record of each day, most extreme events that need a detailed record for court actions or other important reasons, something more 24 hours so they don't get written, nerfed. I could list hundreds of other things like legal cases and books and backlogged, unread for 20 plus years, no time. I get 1 to 2, occasionally 3 hours of sleep a night for decades now. No doubt a death schedule. But trying to catch up or stay even, I'm astounded to hear prisoners say I've got nothing but spare time on my hands, and bewildered that the public thinks that image is accurate, and never thought of the reality that everything in prison takes from 10 to 30 times to 10,000 times longer to achieve than all of you out there, whether it's getting a shower, eating a meal, making a phone call, things as mundane as something weeks to hunt up 5 inches of Scotch tape that's absolutely necessary, or 3 weeks or 3 months to hunt up a paperclip, to spend 10 hours carrying a serving needle out of it to mend my fallen apart shoes or pants or holy socks, and the guards they steal them. They start all over again. Big ticket. Takes me 1 to 3 years to find legal documents you out there can pull up easily in 5 minutes or less. I could list thousands of things like this, so I need people's time. I need committed people who will not suck 20 to 50 hours out of me to something there, to what I will need only to suddenly abandon and be gone forever. I need a team of committed people who will devote ever a mere 1 to 3 hours per month to writing legislators, the governor, CAC, BH, etc., in a tree of people, a phone tree to call and email to, people to help bring traffic to my Facebook and website, people who will word process documents, who will make a few phone calls, fax, or send a few emails monthly, people who will contact the media regularly. Dr. Oz, something, 2020, 60 Minutes, PBS, 48 Hours, radio shows who are willing to learn that persistence and resistance, one of the keys to campaign. Every week, month, at least month or two, it will fail due to something. People who would be thrilled to contact some favors, acting, celebrating for my cause, some of whom I used to know, like Bruce Springsteen, Ted Nugent, though he's a real ass, etc. The list could go for 200 more pages. Someone to help lead the team while I direct them. Someone who would word process pertinent parts of this letter into a document explaining that people can do to help. And I need to write this all out again and again. I'm losing my mind. He's been in prison 35 years. How many people do you think there have been like me that he's written a letter to? He's had to explain this. He's had to explain his case 10,000 times. Oh, God. I don't want to write this all out again and again. 20 times, 50 times. The next person who asks someone with just a little internet research savvy who would succeed at online funding of the thousands of lovely, purpose-deprived, senior, relentless, uncomatose widowers who would love and care come alive again from having a renewed purpose again in life, helping to free this innocent political prisoner, to free up, to help tens of thousands of other people with my innovations and inventions and leadership and program and business plans and employing tens and thousands, etc., etc. You see, the list could go on hundreds of pages. I could do all that when free, when there was no internet or smartphones. Surely a team can do this now, so that is number one. I need people's time to... I need people's time to erect this team, to do all of these things. I need copies of documents made from time to time. Someone who will either research or just download and send me legal cases and other info that's available online. The law libraries in California have been something to criminal hoax and fraud. They are close to non-existent here, and 98% non-functional, even when rarely open. Number 4. This should be number 1. Someone who will organize and carry through a protest rally, perhaps at my trial courthouse or the California State Capitol, exposing the frauds and the BPH criminal kidnap scam, with guards who feloniously write the false petty reports to keep me in prison permanently and personally. It is a more serious crime than murder, as it contains both murder and torture. My mom reduced lifespan, my now reduced lifespan cannot be reversed. This is murder by BAH agents and CAC guards. Had this been carried out in 1984 as I had tried, and ever since tried get someone's to do it, I've been free in 6 months, if not 60 days. this kind of protest might be small because it requires people physically attending, but it could be realistically be as big as 100 or 150 people on site, and then expand it online to my hundreds of more supporters, which I'd hope would return to thousands, if not tens of thousands. They need to see the proof of the forensics of all the trial scams, etc. See 3252 of them on my website. Number 5, I need big ticket fundraising. About $2 million for a PR campaign by a professional PR team and a crack team with guts who won't back down. I figure about $1 million each, though maybe more for the PR team. With this, I would be free. Well, he's not asking for much. He just wants a team of people and that has an incredible amount of time, and he wants tens of thousands of people to protest outside his courthouse, and he wants $2 million for a PR team. Every indigent prisoner, which I am, needs money for food and shoes and clothes and a few other basic needs. I need pens and paper and maybe some books and literature and glasses. I need a comb. I need a hairbrush, shampoo, etc. For 35 years, it has been my tenacious policy to never beg for money for something, I can't read the word, whether friends, family, church members, or family at all. But I do not turn down something offered. I just don't believe in asking. I also have no qualms about asking online to the general public for legal defense fees and other needs. I also have not objected to friends asking for donations on my behalf, though I do not initiate those requests. This is not about pride. It's not about misplaced pride. It is about being polite, as I was raised to be, and about not putting others on the spot, not being a mooch. You know, it may sound like I'm laughing, but if you guys don't see this in the perspective, I'm actually crying. I was raised to be and about not putting others on the spot, not being a mooch, and maintaining self-respect and some degree of independence. Right or wrong, it is my policy. From time to time, some caring people donate, which allows me to get specifically approved food and needs packages, which I gladly accept, but will never ask for unless first invited to. So there you have it, the elaborate answers to your questions. Now you know quite a bit about me. I can find out a lot more if you wish on my website, free Lazor. Apologies for the lengthiness. I hope you can and will help me. I'm so saddened to see Yori and Scott are still in captivity. When I last spoke to Joan, Yori's mom, she was hopeful for his release and legal channels. I was more realistic than I told her, hoping I was wrong and she would prevail. I had hopes in Trump, but they have been dashed for the most part. Yahweh's blessings to you and yours. Honorably yours, Free Lazor.